Hi
You the
YouTube,
tea?
I'm Aphrodite Rose Starfire. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to welcome a very special guest today, Miss Charelle Sno. She has her own YouTube channel, Charelle Sno, SNO. And if you guys have been following my channel at all, you know I've been following very closely a journalist named James Munder, who is very popular on YouTube. Recently passed away on May 20th in kind of strange circumstances. He died on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles. And Charelle is very close to James and probably one of the closest people in his life, and she's kind of undergone some accusations since James's passing. And we wanted to give Charelle an opportunity to give her side of the story and give us an inside look about what her relationship was with James and anything else she wants to tell us. So, hi, Charelle. Thank you for
Hello.
joining. Welcome.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So why don't we just get started and how did you meet James? When did you guys start getting romantically involved or start talking?
So we started really talking. It was right before the coronavirus came out
Mm-hmm.
and everybody went on lockdown. But how we
Yeah.
started talking was he was dating this girl, Liz,
Yeah.
and I just seen so many traits of like narcissistic abuse, and I was just getting out of a really like narcissistic bad relationship myself that actually did a lot of damage. Narcissism is a sickness, and I know a lot about it. So I started just letting him know, like, hey, this is that's this, and I was giving him answers, like, or at least having, for him to look at something a different way because he couldn't understand what was going on and why the things that were happening. So that's how we started talking. And then we started talking more on the phone, um, more romantically, probably like a month after. Um, they broke up. So we were friends, we were talking, but yeah, we started talking more and more and more. We have so much in common. So it was so fun to talk to him. We like a lot of the same things. Yeah.
And were you like one of the people in his chats before like COVID and everything, or was you had kind of just discovered James as a YouTube
Oh no, I've been
personality?
following him for years. My whole family loves him. Like
Yeah,
we
because
knew
I
who
thought
he.
I remembered you from the chats back when I was Kimberly K. I think I remember you in there too.
Yeah, I've been around
Yeah.
for a while, but I came around more consistently when he started doing the Karachi After Dark,
Mhm.
and I was
Mhm.
giving him information. So that's how we started talking.
And then I remember watching you when you guys were visiting with each other. I think you were like on a dock, so, like a boat
Yes.
dock somewhere, and like the wind was like you were like having a picnic or something.
Yeah, we had a really good time that night. It was awesome. I
That
have
was
that
the
video still.
Was that in Florida or was that in
Yes.
yeah, when he visited you? Oh, I could
He
tell
came
that
out
he
here the
really loved
first
you.
time. We met, like, we connected. I was so excited. And he was out here for like 2 weeks. And that was like the
Wow.
first time we met and like got introduced to each other. I got to learn more about him. And
So you
by,
guys
by
had like really good chemistry.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, chemistry was on point. Everything was good. You know, I did already know about the red flags from Liz, his ex-girlfriend,
Okay.
and so I was just, opening myself up and to love really. And I don't regret anything at all with that. It was, we broke up, and how we broke up was, um, and everybody says, oh, James bought you a plane ticket on his birthday. No, he did not. That was a lie. That was a lie. And he actually made plans to go see Brenda in Utah. And I don't like her. I think she's gross. And he kind of outed himself in a group chat. I have all the screenshots. It's so crazy. And he put me and Brenda in a group chat, and she posted a picture of her and James together.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, you know, we've just been dating for 3 months, and I just like seen him, and now he's hanging out with this Brenda that was in the way with Liz's relationship and James's relationship.
Right.
So he's like, don't worry, she smells like Bengay. I don't even like her like that. And he's saying all this stuff, but then I'm getting messages. I actually have the recording. Maybe I'll share it, of Steve, because Steve was with Brenda, and Steve called me, and we called them out. And then after that, I was like, you know, James, I am not gonna sit here and take your this crap, and you're lying to me. I caught him in a lot of lies.
Yeah.
So that kind of we broke up that October.
So you guys were exclusive for like 3 months, and then like his lies kind of came out, and maybe he was not faithful, and so you guys ended the relationship. But then you guys still stayed in touch and were friends.
Yes.
Right? Or yeah.
Yeah, and I got a lot of hits for still staying in the chat, especially from certain people, like a lot of haters. I don't know if I should name their names. Should I? No, I'm kidding. Angel Miss is always
it's up to you.
Jealous and like a hater, and she even makes little rude comments to James, and you know, so I took a lot of backlash for that whole, you know, thing with us breaking up. But then James was writing crazy stuff on my Facebook, and my family would see all that stuff. So I was like, this is it. I can't do this. Like, he was screaming at me. He was so upset because I caught him in a lie. And in my life, like, I didn't have room for that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, I'm not just going to sit here and lie to you. Like, I can't be with somebody that's going to be playing all these games and then making it so public. So, we remained friends, and things got better. He still like loved me a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I love him too, but it was really sad when, you know, well, Hayes got him a ticket. He was his guest. He's always, we'll get into that Hayes situation in a minute, I guess. And they went to the whole thing in Washington, D.C. with January 6th.
Right. So they got there to Washington, D.C., James and Hayes. But it was like kind of after everything had already happened, all of the chaos kind of had ended, right?
Months later, you know, like this was what, 3-4 months later. But I was still talking to him. We were still FaceTiming. We were still friends, seeing if we could work it out. And I started to get, you know, I love him. Like, I gotta, like, you know, I gave him some room. Like, let's see how this will work out.
Yeah. But James and Hayes were in DC, like, after, like, the January 6th, like, all of that craziness that happened that day in DC. Like, James wasn't actually there for that.
He was.
Oh, he was there? I thought he got there after.
Well, he got there late, so he wasn't a part of that whole ruckus. Thank God. I don't know where they both would be right now.
Right.
And so they got to the hotel. They couldn't get any food. There was no food. There was no vending machines. It's so funny when I go back and watch the footage of them trying to get that pizza. And he's like, I'll tell you what you need to know.
Because they're like, it's like a ghost town, right? They're like in DC, and they're like, there's nobody here, right?
Yeah. So I'm glad that, you know, it worked out the way it did. So James was planning on going already to Florida with Hayes, and James was aware that there was something wrong with my dog and that my dog had passed, and I was so exhausted. I was so tired because it was like a week of just me trying to help my dog and give him medicine and all this stuff. So James was like, I'm going to fly to Miami. I'm going to come see you. And he came and he was with me. That was the most amazing thing anybody has ever done for me.
Yeah. So nice.
And threw my arms up. I'm like, I love you, you know? It meant so much. So we got a
So you met him at the airport, right?
When?
That picture where you're hugging James and there's Hayes there too.
Oh no, that's actually at the hotel.
Oh, that's at the hotel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So James and Hayes fly in to see you, and then what happens?
I think that they flew in. I don't know if Hayes drove down that time straight from Orlando and grabbed his car. I don't remember. Actually, he did have his car, so they did drive down, like right after. And,
they drove from DC to Florida.
No, they drove. Okay, so they caught a flight to Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Or wherever Hayes' airport is, and then they drove over here right away. And then so I spent the weekend in the hotel with those guys, and of course, you know, he accused me of, like, first thing, when somebody's like dog died and I've been going through it for a whole week, having to go back and forth to the vet, not sleeping, I'm totally sad. The last thing, like, I'm gonna do is, you know, jump James's bones. Like, hello, I'm not gonna just go to bed with him right when I get to the hotel room. So I got my air fryer. I got us 3 steaks, and we were just excited to see each other. We were talking about how we were gonna cut his hair and what we were gonna do over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And so when we got into the hotel room, Hayes is unpacked, and me and James are like, go somewhere, you know. And then Hayes is like, okay, so you guys need time alone? All right, so, and James is like, and looks at me, I'm like, yeah. And so he left the room, and I guess he expected us to have sex. So, first of all, that's not the first thing I wanted to do with James. I wanted to hold him and, like, be with him, really, and let him know meant to me. And, you know, after that, he's like, well, what do you want to do? Pizza downstairs, because there was a pizzeria. And we went downstairs, and I guess we were too soon for Hayes because he doesn't know what we did. And who cares? That's like the last thing on my mind would be like to have sex when I'm just super like sad. And like, plus that was the first day of my moon cycle. And I'm like not feeling good at all. And so he had to make that like so clear. He's like, oh, you guys didn't have sex. There's so many lies. And the other lie was, well, I guess we'll get into that too. So we were there. We had a great time. It was an amazing time the whole time he was here. And then he had to go. And then he spent the rest of the time with Hayes in Orlando. And I went back to my old job and, you know, was just happy. And I felt so loved. And I love him like so much for that. Like that was the most incredible thing ever. So then not even a week later, it was a week and a half later, his mom dies. Mm-hmm. And that was so sad. I remember when he got the phone call and his mom was on life support, and he told his mom, he's like, I got a woman and I love her. He wanted to make sure that she knew that James was okay and that he's going to be taken care of. He told his mom everything's going to be all right. I love you. It's okay, Mom. You can go. And like I met his mom on the stream, and he was broken, you know, after that. He was very close to his mom. And like not at the end, of course, but his whole life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
because he's the only child.
Yes. Yeah. I guess that there's some sister, I don't know, I keep hearing about, but I never heard about no sister from James. I know that he's an only child.
Was it a sister from his mom's side or his dad's side?
That's what I'm wondering, because I know his dad was like a player. And maybe he does have a sister somewhere, but we never ever talked about a sister. So James had actually was he actually like moving in with Hayes in Orlando, or he was just kind of staying there for a long time and then his mom died? He was just hanging out with Hayes at his house.
Oh, okay. It was kind of,
he was still in Vegas. And then he went back. Wait. No, he stayed for like only 3 or 4 days. at Hayes's house. And then he went back home. Because I remember when he was in Vegas, Hayes is like, no, you need to go out there and, at least claim that property. So they drove all the way out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when his mom died, I would have to be, let me tell you guys, like, this is the honest truth. I would have to be a monster not to want to go and be with James when his mom died. That is awful. That would be so disgusting. Like, I would never do that.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. What happened was I had that job and I didn't have enough money. I just spent $1,200 on my dog. It wasn't that, I guess I heard something that Avery said that your dog mattered more than his mom. Why would I say something that horrific? So he was already putting stuff in James's head when I wasn't there in California. And I was having a hard time getting a hold of James, but he was going through so much. And I can't even imagine now that I've lost James and how tough it's been to even understand what he was coping with. But back on track, James is like, just get out here. I need you. I could show you guys the text messages. And I'm like, babe, I'm on my way. I'm going to be there. And the only thing that's stopping me is this plane ticket that I'm looking at, and I can't afford it.
Yeah.
I need $400.
Well, it was like practically impossible to fly during COVID and all that anyways.
There was plane tickets.
Yeah.
There was. And Hayes wasn't going to buy me a plane ticket. I have two people off the record, like they do not want me to say their names, that remember Hayes saying that he was not going to buy me a plane ticket.
So what was Hayes like when you were around him?
Loud, obnoxious, funny, controlling. He kind of cooled it out, though. I think that's why James liked me around Hayes, was because he can't really be so damn degrading to James when I was around, Let's see. No, so Avery, I have those messages as well of, me contacting Avery, asking her for help with the plane ticket. So what she did, she actually gave me a Spirit Airline link, and I was going through the tickets. I was like, wow, I cannot believe how cheap these tickets are. This is great. But when you click on it and you start making reservations, that's when all the charges start coming.
Yeah.
With Spirit. So I was like, oh no. No, I still cannot do this ticket. It's like over $600 for a round trip. And
James didn't have the money to do it.
No. Nope. He was asking Hayes. Hayes didn't want to. I believe I know for a fact we can put him in the chat maybe later. I don't care. Like, I just want all this stuff cleared up that it's just not true. I did not go to the Keys with another man after James's mom died. And
so that's what Hayes was claiming, was that they came down to DC to see you when your dog died, but when James's mom died, you were off gallivanting in Key West with some guy in a Lamborghini.
No, that's a lie. I actually went on Google Maps. I believe I showed it to you, of my record of where I was at for that whole month. Like, right. Literally from when his mom died to like the end of the month, and I'm just clicking through the days, and you can see I was in my vicinity of where I lived.
And even if you were, like, it's not like you did anything wrong or it's not like you guys were in a committed relationship. You guys had a lot of love for each other, but it's so expensive to fly across country, and so many people are passing away right now, and it's crazy how Hayes just was throwing everybody in James's life under the bus practically, and it's like his motives are very strange. It's like he's trying to avoid somebody finding him out. Let's talk. So James had some problems with substance abuse, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And did he like have that problem when he was dating you and before and after, or is it getting
When
worse?
I first met him, he was completely clean.
Oh, really?
He was at his best.
Wow.
That's how I met James, at his best. Yes.
So what do you think it was just the stress after he got raided and stuff, and then his mom dying?
Oh, he thought that was cool.
Huh?
He thought that was cool. I was on the phone with him. Okay, so we were, well, I feel like we were talking at his dad's house having dinner like we would do. He had a schedule, and when he had a set schedule, he did his best. And he starts walking back to the house. He goes, Charelle, he's like, there's like a whole police department sitting outside of my front door right now. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? I think that they just broke open your door. I'm getting text messages. And he goes, no, my door's not broke yet. And he asked the cops, he's like, you guys, what are you guys doing? Are you he goes, oh, there's somebody in there. We think that he overdosed. And he goes, well, that's my house. He goes, are you James Munder? Yes, I'm James Munder. He goes, well, the cop said straight up, well, we're going to have to kick open your door. He goes, well, are you guys going to get me a new door? That's all he cared about. He's so funny. So this is happening on a live stream. It was, he just left it live on D Live because I guess it's best if you do that with D Live, and he'd go have dinner. But the lady in the apartment complexes was always watching his show. So she thought he was overdosing and was in the, like overdosed inside of his apartment. And he's like, no, I'm right here. I'm fine.
So like the guy, the cops said they still had to break the door down to make sure there wasn't anybody else in there?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's what happened. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that night that Hayes took all those pictures of James.
Okay, we got to kind of like, I'm going to have to say it from this point on, because there's a history of this. And
really,
this is what's like, as far as when I wanted to go to California and how Hayes wasn't picking up the phone, but like just putting stuff deliberately, like hate messages in James's head when his mom died, and sitting there saying, I'm the best one, I am here for you, and all this stuff, and not letting me talk to James. Okay. And so
Hayes went back with James to California.
Yep, when his mom died.
Yeah, okay.
And I thought that was great. Like, that was so honorable. That was like, he actually got some point. Like, I was like, okay, he got some brownie points.
Yeah.
He's not that bad of a guy. Like, I got to give him a chance because that was pretty honorable of him. Everybody in the live stream was like, who is this guy, Hayes? Like, nobody liked him.
He's like so involved. Like, why is he so involved? Like, does he have his own life? Like he's another just dude. Like,
I think somebody made a really good point on a live stream that I heard about Hayes. Mm-hmm. Like, James had $1 million personality. Like, he could have done so much. We could have done so much together, him and I.
Yeah.
It would have been
like that. You guys like have that star quality.
It would have been
Hollywood look.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, he's so good looking too. So well, sorry, I got thrown off. So okay. What was I gonna say? No, okay, so
Hayes had a history of
trying to shun me out of stuff and shun a lot of people out of stuff, especially women. But the thing was it was very clear that Hayes was very jealous of James in the beginning, and everybody knew this. And it was very like he was like an enabler in a way too. I seen it coming because I remember this was the weirdest thing, you guys. Okay, Aphrodite. The first thing James showed me when he was like when he was at my house, he goes, "Look at this," and he shows me a picture of this guy with a ponytail sticking straight up, this huge TV behind him, and he's playing James Munder on this huge TV, and he's jumping up and down with a computer saying, I'm gonna meet James Munder, I'm gonna meet James Munder. And he was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, don't you think that's like a little odd? That's like a little creaky right there. That's a little weird, James. Who is this guy? And why did he buy you a computer, an Apple? An Apple?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you're really going to meet him? Because that was kind of odd for me. He's like, yeah, he keeps calling me. You know, he seems okay. I'm like, well, what if he's gay? Like, because he comes off like real strange.
Yeah.
You know, are you gay? Like, why? What the heck's going on with that situation? That's how I was like, what the heck? And I know James isn't gay for a fact.
Right.
So, he's like, we'll see how it is. He's like, I'll handle this. I was like, okay. And I seen it, and I seen how he was handling it. I was like, okay, cool. He didn't like to pick up the phone when he was around Hayes with me. He would text me. But then, you know, so that happened with the whole California thing. I didn't have enough money. I took the time off of work. I'll show you that footage too. You can actually post it in this video of my schedule that I got time off of work to actually go. I have the text messages. I should probably pull those up. I think they're in my database somewhere though. I don't want to sit here and find those. Waste time. No, so then, you know, when he came out here, Hayes and James and that whole thing happened with the toilet paper and all this stuff. Let me tell you, he was
so James and Hayes came out again to Florida.
Yeah. And they were at Hayes' house for a while.
Okay.
And this is when Hayes like invited him as his guest, and like they went to Alligator Land or whatever, and he was complaining that James wanted water, and he was, you know, he was thirsty. I can only imagine, like, this is your guest you're inviting to Florida, and you're gonna throw it in his face that you won't buy him a water, but you're a millionaire 15 times over again, and you know, all this stuff, and then you're like throwing it in his face constantly about every single dollar you spend. That was like real cheap moves, I think. Like,
yeah,
why do you invite
like
somebody over to just tear them apart? And he kept doing that to James, and it was like really upsetting me. Like, how could you film James like in these vulnerable positions? I know that really bothered James a lot. It like on another level.
But, so that time, those pictures that Hayes was showing of James with the toilet paper on him, where was that?
Okay, so that was either at his house or in the hotel room, that picture. But what happened when I found out that I know I was on the phone with James for 2 days, and he's literally screaming at Hayes, like, hey, no, I want to see Charelle. Just drop me off. I want to be with Charelle. Get me to Charelle. And Hayes was getting upset because he didn't want to take James to me at all. Yeah. But I felt like these weird vibes. I can tell, like, James and I had such a good connection. Like, he didn't even have to even talk that much, but we already knew stuff. Yeah, so it was like, I felt something was wrong. He had to get out here. But what he does is he drives him out. Okay, we'll go take you to go see Charelle. Okay, but there's a plan behind everything that Hayes doesn't like or want to do. And that's when it gets scary, because you don't know what he's capable of doing. And he did a lot of stuff that, like, he looks all bright and shiny on the outside, but he's doing some shady stuff on the inside to James. So when he came out here, he had, 10 pills that he had given James, and James took some of them. And I don't know if he took all of them. I don't know what happened, but when I got out of work, I couldn't get a hold of James. So I called this guy, Palti. He's missing. I don't know what happened to him. God bless his soul. I hope he's okay. But Palti got a hold of Hayes because Hayes would not pick up my phone calls. And I know that they're here in Miami because James is like, I'm like 30 minutes out. I was like, great, I'll call you when I get out of work. And then Palti finally got a hold of Hayes. Then Hayes picks up the phone and he's acting like he's sleeping. And I'm like, hey, I'm ready. I want to go down there and, meet up with you guys. Where's James? Oh, James is passed out. He took this and he's totally passed out. He's not going to be able to wake up. I was like, wake him up. Wake him up now. And so he goes in the room while he's totally passed out. And he has like this pink purse next to him. And he screams in James's face. James, so loud and evil, like, okay, to me it was that way. That's how I felt. I was like, don't freaking scream in his face like that. What the hell's wrong with you? So James jumps out of bed, and this is how I could tell he was out of it. Was he goes to the door, and he goes, "I'm gonna go find Charelle." And he had this was on video. I was
It was
actually
on video chat. Yeah.
So he storms out of the door. He goes, "I'm not gonna go chase him. You can call him." So I'm calling and calling and calling. Nobody's picking up. And then finally, Hayes picks up the phone about an hour and a half later. It's about to be dark. I said, "You have to go find him. He's still not back. What's going on? Where are you?" Let me show you those text messages. And he goes, "Okay, fine. I'll go find him." He goes and he sends me a short little video of where he is, and he's sleeping. And it's so sad. He's sleeping outside on a chair because he doesn't want to be next to Hayes, you know? Really, I know that's why after you just get screamed, you got a gun in your mouth. Like, he did a bunch of crazy stuff to him. Well, he was out of it, and I couldn't get a hold of him that whole night. So, I couldn't see him because I couldn't get a hold of James. I couldn't get a hold of Hayes and find out the address of where to go or what to do. I'm asking Hayes, I'm like, "Yo, like, is this going to be an issue where I have to go take an Uber all the way over there and then have to take an Uber all the way back?" I was like, "Send me $20 extra for this damn Uber because I feel like this is a setup, you know?" But I remember that part. And I was gonna go look for James. Okay, let me see.
Right, like where you supposed to like take an Uber into the middle of nowhere, like hotels, and just like walk around.
I had no idea where he was at.
James.
Oh, the stuff that boy put me through sometimes. Okay, so this was, I think this is it. Let me read. Hold on. Text me. I'm in a van. Okay, yes, this is it. So this date was August 16th, 2021. This is right when I was getting ready to get off of work. "Hi, is everything okay? I just wanted to know what's going on. What's the word? Are you guys here? Are you okay?" This is me texting Hayes. "Both of your guys' phones are going straight to voicemail. I'm a little worried. James is not picking up, and I don't know what's going on. So if anything, I'll meet up with you guys tomorrow. I'm really worried about James and his behavior right now. What's going on? I hope he's okay. Don't get into any trouble. Okay, be safe out there.
Yeah.
Is James okay, Hayes?" And that's at 4:53. "I'm on my way." I said that, you know.
Yeah.
This is all me, like, texting him. And
Uh-huh.
this is finally when he writes back and he says, "I'm babysitting." So that's when I said, "Oh, cash at me $60. It wasn't $20. I was like, with this traffic going all the way out there, And so it doesn't matter because I was just trying to get his attention or get some, like, hey, something out of him. He wasn't doing that whole time. So then what happened? Did James fall asleep again? What's going on? I'm so sick of being stressed out like this. What's going on? How do I go over there? This is crazy. He probably won't even remember what's going on. Is everything okay out there? I'm over it. I'm done trying. Tell James." And so, "Please call me back. I'm scared." This was in the morning. And then James calls me, okay, at like 5 a.m. He's like, "Why aren't you here?" I was like, "James, you don't remember, do you?" He's like, "No, what happened?" I was like, "I was trying to get a hold of you. And he sent me pictures of you by, like, on the chair. And I sent him the little video clips that Hayes sent me to James." And he's like, "Well, I have to leave now." "Oh, okay." I don't know what happened. And he left with Hayes. And then that's kind of like, after that, I noticed that James was not happy with Hayes at all. And I thought it was just because I didn't get to see him. But this was the third time this has happened to where he got asked out, like, totally incoherent, James, with Hayes.
And did Hayes ever talk to you about his injuries and like the World Trade Center stuff?
Honestly, I've never been that close to Hayes. I've always kept my distance. Even when I was around him, I never cared to even ask him about his personal life.
Yeah.
He was always telling the world anyways, whatever he said. So, he just says whatever, and that's the story. Everybody, like, seriously, everybody, like, these viewers that people don't know what's really going on. They think they know.
Right.
And that's what's crazy about having the following James had, was people didn't really know what James and my relationship, and they didn't know Hayes. They don't know what's really going on. They think that they know. And they're like, oh, Hayes is the greatest guy in the world, and let's idolize him. That's what Hayes has always wanted. And I mean that with the best intention. He really craves attention. I don't know why he got so upset with you when he's like, oh, you're talking about James and you're doing it so that way you get more views. And that's the only time. Listen, partner, the only thing that you're doing right now is talking about James to get views. And you're talking about like you were his twin.
Yeah. Did James ever say to you that he thought Hayes was his twin?
Not at all. That's not what he ever said about Hayes at all. That's not one of the things that he had ever said about Hayes at all. Or or any of that. I know who he did call his best friend, and it wasn't
he did call him.
He definitely was very close to Kay Smalls as a best friend. Okay, and then he had a couple friends in California that were really good old friends of his. Considered one of them, I forgot his name, a best friend. But I mean, I think that Hayes and James had a weird relationship because Hayes did like put him here. You want a ticket, or a computer. And then when it got really vulnerable and stuff, like when his mom died, he was there for James.
Yeah.
But he was also controlling certain things that he had no business controlling in the background of James's. And we could probably maybe get into that at a later date. Let's see how this one goes. But there was things that he shouldn't have been doing and he had no business doing.
Yeah. Well, it just looks like Hayes did have those injuries. Like he did go through some crazy surgeries. So he would have access to lots of different pain medications and muscle relaxers for long term with those kinds of surgeries. You're getting follow-up doctor's appointments for like the rest of your life, basically. So he's going to have like long-term access to heavy duty medication. So if he was sharing that with James, I'm sure James would probably put up with a lot more bad behavior just because he would get access to these good pills. But that's really weird that when they came to see you in Miami, it seemed like Hayes kind of drugged James, and
he wasn't happy about James wanting to see me.
So like almost so he wouldn't hang out with you, so he would have him to himself.
That's right. That is correct. And I don't know what happened that night. And this is another thing. I'm not going to jump to any kind of accusations, but from what I do know of Hayes and what he's capable of doing and how he works, he may not be the smartest guy, but as far as his street smarts and plotting stuff and doing things methodically, like seriously planning on somebody to do certain things, that guy can do it right underneath your nose and make you look like the bad guy after just tripping somebody up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it seems like
I don't know what happened that night.
Yeah.
At all. But I know James, and he did not. Whatever happened that night, James was questioning it, and he never really was the same again, like as far as talking and about Hayes, about that night. And I have a video that I recorded and I have of James saying, look, like, you know what's kind of weird is the past 3 times that I've gone to your house, I end up in a trance and I'm sleeping and I, like I'm out of it. How come that's only happening around you? You know, Hayes. I don't know if that one's on YouTube, but I know I have that video. So I was like, this is weird. And it was so weird.
Stay tuned for part 2 of Charelle Speaks, where we reveal the video of James Munder when he confronts Hayes about that night where Hayes took pictures of James unconscious. Now for some receipts from Charelle supporting the things that she has said.
Goodbye. And then this is when James came to see me. Okay, so that's January 8th. Okay, now let's see if we can find any pictures. I did not go to California, the Keys. Like, why would I do that? That was a depressing month. That's crazy. I didn't buy a fur jacket. I've heard so many things. It's terrible. This is when I got his cremations. Okay. Literally, today is the 21st day of the 21st. So I'm like, okay, so this is when his mom passed away. Okay. That's Biden freaking getting inaugurated. Okay. That's just me taking extra pictures of snapshots. I took a lot of snapshots. Okay, hold on. So I'm about to show some personal text. You guys can, hear whatever you want. Okay, so this is when I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I think I'm going to have to change it from this weekend to next weekend. I don't want to hear anything from Avery either. She doesn't rule my life. I have a full-time job. I don't know what to do because I don't have any money. And she wants to pay for the ticket. I need help pay. She doesn't. She don't have the money. That's what it is. I don't have the money, and she wants to pay for the ticket. In that case, I need help paying for the ticket, babe. That's all. Okay? Who knows? Do whatever you want. I love you. I am. That's not a good answer. I don't know what you want from me. I'm not pressuring you or anything. And see, he was already so sad, like he needed me there. Okay? I haven't even looked at these yet, so. Okay. Don't worry. You're stuck in your delusions. Don't be bad. I'm trying to get out there. I need your help with the ticket. What you're believing isn't true, or let me do the next weekend after the next so it's cheaper. I have this random girl dropping everything you made mad. Check yourself. Don't worry, I'm fine. Everyone had me believing this ticket was going to be so cheap. I'm not mad at you for the last time. Can't you communicate with me? Stop arguing, hun. I need answers ASAP. What do you want from me? Answers, read above, please. I'm not arguing, okay? I said I'd help. Okay. So this is like such a touchy subject, and then Hayes is in the background like cussing me out and treating me like I didn't want to go and putting stuff in his head. And also, he was in a vulnerable situation. James was like hurt, Okay. I'm going to scream. So fucking confusing, pissing me off. I just felt like laying down. I said I don't do anything for you, and I'm sorry. I'm not feeling that good. Be safe, and I love you. We will get on the same page, I believe. Feel better, sweets. Call you after work. I am sorry I can't be there right now to put a smile on your face. Soon I can, and I will. I'm embarrassed on how much you seem to not care. To be honest with how public our relationship is too. Rookie shit. Are you my woman? That's how I feel right now. Don't want to hold you. This is like stuff that was being put in his head. I was trying so hard to be able to go out there. Oh, this is my schedule.
See that?
Great.
That's permanent. That's available. But I don't understand why everybody. That's next week. I took Monday and Tuesday off. I did everything I could. And I've been getting shitted on. Like, I don't understand. Everybody's so bully back. And I had to fight for that. I'm going to really fine. No, I'm screwed. On the floor.
Wow, I'm glad I recorded that. So.
See that? Yeah, that's.
Oh, man. Oh, this is a stupid thing that, whatever, I don't want to go through that.
See that?
You can see I took the vacation off. You can see I was fighting for the ticket.
But I don't understand why everybody. That's next week. I took Monday and Tuesday off. I did.
Now, the only thing I have left that I can put on here is the voice recordings from me and Avery, me and James, and Hayes never talked to me. He kept hanging up on me. So, you know, all these delusions that you guys are believing that he's like this amazing person. Remember when James came out here to Florida and James got all drugged up and Hayes was not answering the phone and he was sleeping on South Beach and he gave him a full bottle of pills and he was not coherent because he did not want James to see me. And that's all James wanted to do. And when I went to, you know, get in an Uber and go over there, guess who didn't want to pick up the phone and tell me the address? You know how pissed off James was and upset? And he's like, I don't know what happened, but that was like really weird. He felt like he was drugged. It goes way deeper, you guys. January 20th, 2001. You guys see that, right? All right. So this is my timeline. Every date. Okay?
26, 27.
That's when I used to work over there.
28,
28th, 29th, 30th. Do you guys see me going to the Keys?
1, 2, 3, 4,
I don't.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Do you think I would
13th.
ever be that screwed up?
14th.
No. Okay, let's get back. That is closed now. We can officially say that he's a complete liar and he was making up that story. He didn't want me there when his mom died. He did not. He was trying so hard to take full control and make sure I didn't come. It costed when my dog passed away on the 5th, January 5th. He was in DC with Larry on January 6th. After their trip, they flew and James was so sweet and he supported me. You guys understand how much it costed me? It costed me $1,200 just for all the medication, just try to keep him alive that week. And then he ended up passing away. And then I had to pay for the crematory and the urn. I didn't have any money.